Hello and a very warm welcome to one of my very dear friends on the Values Workshop. Uh, Vishal not only looks like a rock star, he is a rock star. Uh, I will hand over the introduction part to him. Vishal, can you tell us what kind of music you do?
I pretty much do all kinds of music. I create all kinds of music now. And well, primarily I started with rock, heavy metal, and I started at a very early age. I was about 5, 6 years old. And it's been a long journey so far. अभी और भी journey काफी बाकी है. A lot of things need to be discovered and learned. I'm still learning, you learn till the end of life. You also unlearn a lot of things. So that way, I've been composing music for medias, films, web series, producing artists and bands from all over the world, and working as a record producer. And at the same time, I have recently started my artist management and social media management company for different types of artists. Or I don't really call it artist management, but it's more or less like I say it's roadmap designing for innovative artists, where
Okay.
I'm trying to find artists who are very innovative, approachable, very sensitive. They are able to express themselves in a very refreshing, innovative, and a rebellious way through music. And I'm basically helping them out to, share their art with the world and how to get these things done. So yeah, this is so far the journey is going on.
Wonderful. It is uncanny that the topic that is running in my head kind of had quite a few words in your answers. Uh, so what I've been thinking is, off late I'm unaware if you know what I do. Besides my writing, I also work as a discomfort coach, helping people with
Yeah.
different kinds of discomfort. And uh, over a period, one of the common things that has arisen for me is the best kind of rapport or relationships, whether professional or personal for me, has been with people who are willing to uh, quote unquote learn,
Yeah.
who are willing to show their uh, a side of themselves which they don't naturally show to the world in terms of um, confidence, if you want to use the term.
Right.
And contrasting this with the world where everything is about confidence and just coming out and showing up in a certain manner. And I find it very interesting that confidence now no longer, as I keep growing, confidence doesn't become any of the parameters that I look for in anybody, or success, or having arrived. To me, the journey becomes so much more palpably alive in terms of having that attitude of, okay, look, I'm vulnerable here, I'm unsure here, I am learning, and I'm willing to learn, I'm willing to change. So this morning, I have this question that I keep asking myself: why do you like yourself? Like, why do I like myself? And what is the, or sometimes I ask, what is the best thing that has ever happened to you? So very often it is the meditation technique that I have been gifted, or the learning of Dhamma. But a couple of days back, it also came to me that I have been blessed with a mind which is willing to change and adapt and learn new things, even at the cost of uh, fear, doubt, uh, and in a world which lays so much premium on confidence and success. It's a very rare thing to be coming out again and again with products and services which are unsure. The podcast by itself, while it has been successful in a certain manner, it's still a long way to go till uh, one reaches a point where a lot of other people are helped by it. So, as an artist, I have been seeing some of your work sometimes, and uh, some of the posts that you share. Now, coming from the background of hard rock and looking at your visage as it is, the kind of face that you bring, the kind of hairstyle that you bring, what you talk is so much earthy and sensitive and required. And yet, I don't find other artists, friends, talk about these things. They may through their work and on and off, everybody does. They are not bad people, but you have made it the uh, center of your being of sorts. That is your offering to the world. So I find a certain sense of kindness, a certain sense of willing to learn and teach, be with people in what would be the difficult part of their journeys. You also mentioned that you seek out innovative artists. Now, innovative artists by themselves may not necessarily be street smart. So,
Sure.
bringing that combination. So, tell me something. What is the most important quality to be a learner? Or in my religion, we are called Sikhs. So, Sikh means disciple or learner of sorts. So, what is it that defines this journey or this quality in a person?
This is quite vast. I think when I think about somebody who wants to learn, uh, I will speak from my own perspective, from my uh, experience so far in life, in art, is how we look at life. It's the most important thing that comes. It comes right from the time when we are children, when we are like very little. Like we think when we're kids, we think the world is a beautiful place. We have our parents, and I asked my dad, Dad, I want to buy this toy. Can I get this toy? And he said, Yeah, sure. And some children, their parents may not be able to afford toys, but still, when we're children, when we're a child, somehow we are able to find happiness somewhere. We know that whatever chaos happening around the world, around the surrounding, we are still able to find happiness. It's the nature of being a child where no matter what happens, no matter if we got beaten up by our dad or mom, मतलब हमने कुछ गलती किया जिससे हमारी पिटाई हो गई बचपन में, तो हम रोते भी थे बचपन में। तो उसके कुछ देर बाद फिर वापस से मन अच्छा हो जाता है, हल्का होता है, फिर खेलने कूदने में लगे जाते हैं, राइट? So this is basically the child in us are when we were a child, when we were not introduced to be a part of the matrix. I would say matrix. When we were not introduced to the matrix part when we were a child, we had absolutely no fear of learning. We had no fear of taking risks. We had no fear of getting judged. We wanted to learn with fun. And as we grow older, as the education system starts putting up patronized knowledge on our brain, and they prepare us in the school to become uh, a cell product of the society. Like, they're teaching what we're reading in the books is the same knowledge which our parents, maybe our grandparents, their parents must have been reading. So basically, when we enter school, our mind starts getting patronized in a what do you call it? In a controllable way. When that stage starts happening from our childhood, then we learn under pressure. We have performance pressure. We are learning under pressure. We are basically forced to learn things which we are not able to choose. Like, we don't have options to choose what do we want to learn. Do we want to learn music? Do we want to learn arts? Do we want to learn science, technology? Do we want to learn spirituality? No. So here, I think the decision making skill before we enter the school, before we enter the whole patronized education system created by the Matrix, uh, we lose our decision making skills when we join it. But before joining the school, we kind of we kind of know what we need, what kind of knowledge we want, what kind of learning we need to do. And because we had the control as a child, we had the control to learn things with freedom. That's why we used to find happiness in learning. We used to find happiness in everything. Like, say, when I was trying to learn, riding my bicycle, I used to fall down every time. But then again, I get up on the bicycle and then I try this and that. I started getting bruises, things that came out. I fell down, I got hurt, but still I was not unhappy. I was not scared because that was the fun part. I was figuring out things. Oh, so if I'm falling from the other side, if I'm falling to the left side, so I have to turn my steering wheel to the left side so that I automatically get pushed towards the right side. And if I fall from the right on the right side, then I again, you know, rotate my steering wheel to the right side. So this is kind of a balance, we are trying to achieve while we're learning the bicycle. This technique was taught by my dad. Uh, this was a very fun process for me to learn because I was having fun with it because it was challenging and it was fun. And yeah, I used to laugh a lot when I fall down. So I think learning process should be fun. It shouldn't be pressurized. It shouldn't come. I mean, it's not like, look, you have to learn this. Okay, you don't have any choice. You have to learn. That is one situation. And another situation is you learn or you don't learn. It's up to you. So I have faced both the stages of learning. I have discovered the free style of learning where nothing is involved. It's just a learning process. That happened when I was a child, when dad was around. That was very pleasant for me. That was the fun part for me. And I've learned so many things, uh, you know, by observing people. And yeah, another thing is, yeah, one important word I would like to bring in is observation. Observation is a habit that sometimes a lot of children they don't have. Sometimes a lot of children they do have observation power. Now, observation is also attached with another word. It's called being judgmental or being non-judgmental. So, are you observing with a judgmental point of view, or are you observing with a non-judgmental point of view? So, this everything comes with these things. When I was a kid, I used to be non-judgmental observer because I used to learn things. I, for me, learning was the fun part in life, and I used to observe things in a way where that why these guys getting started with fight? Why do we have to learn social studies like this? Why do we have to learn Sanskrit? And I figured, okay, we learn Sanskrit because it comes from our roots. We have to learn English because that's the universal language. English is going to help me out to communicate with people around the world. Hindi is important because that is our national language, article language. So these are logic, these are observations. It's not like the teacher came to me and said, you have to learn Hindi. No, it wasn't like that. Basically, I questioned myself, why do I have to learn Hindi? Why do I have to learn mathematics? Why this person standing in front of me is crying? Why this another schoolmate of mine, classmate, why did she puke? Is she unhealthy? Is she not feeling well? Like, why did why is she not feeling well? Probably because she's already sick and she had to come to the school, and maybe her parents forced her to come to the school. So these were the few little observations, and I was not being judgmental over here. It was always a question mark. What could be the option? Is it because she didn't come to the school because she is sick and she was forced to attend the class today? That's why she's here, and that's why she feels more unwell. Is it because she suddenly felt unwell? Is it because she's going through something, what could be the reason? Could be anything. So what's the result of that? The result is basically she's unaware. Okay.
Hmm.
What do we need to work on it? My understanding was do not come to the school when you're very young. The reason can be anything. Just don't come to school anywhere. Whenever you're sick, don't come to school. So that also impacted my school attendance, where my attendance was sometimes very low. And my parents were a little bothered because they started getting calls from the school teacher, the class teacher, sorry. She basically told my mom, uh, Vishal has not been attending the school regularly from the past 2, 3 months. His attendance is quite low. I'm worried because if his attendances are low, below 60%, he may not be able to give the exam. Attendance is quite important. And then my mom and dad, they asked me like, why are you not going to the school? Like, I saw that yesterday also you said I don't want to go to school. I sit up at home. So why do you do that? And my parents never used to force me. Like, oh, no, it's going to be bad. My parents never forced me to do that. So that was a decision making skill. I think now when I think, like I'm 59 now. Now when I think, the decision making skill started developing from that time on, where I used to tell myself that today I'm not feeling like going to school. I'm not feeling like looking at the classroom. I'm not feeling like looking at the board. So today I'm not going to school. What does it mean? Today is the unlearning day. It's the unlearning day. Today I do not want. I want to forget you. I want to empty up the space in my mind. I want to create an empty field in my mind so that my mind reacts to the extra new knowledge nicely, welcomes the new knowledge nicely, not forcefully. So I'm going to miss my school for at least 2 years. That's how I used to see back then. And this is where I think I had no idea when I was a kid why I'm doing all these things, but I believed in myself a lot. That's what I realized. And I was an introvert kid. I, for me, communicating with different all children was very tough. I had specific type of friends, very few friends, and being introvert gave me a lot of time to work on my music and art, and also to do a lot of self study. Like I always used to talk to myself in front of the mirror. Like I used to speak like this. I was like 6, 7 years old. Sharp, doing great, getting good, but you need to work on it. It's
Can
very
I
important.
can I interrupt? I have a question. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, the underlying sense of what I'm understanding from you is that uh, there are there are a couple of uh, characteristics of being a good learner. Happiness being one, interest in the subject, choice of matter that you want to learn,
yes,
uh, decision making, uh, which I actually translated in my head as uh, responsibility towards what you have learned. Uh,
very amazing. That's
so,
amazing word. That's an amazing word.
yeah, because say if I have chosen to learn music instead of maths at that point of time, or art, any other kind of art, then I need to be investing myself into uh, being of the right mindset for the learning to happen. It can't happen that, oh, today my mood is not there, I won't attend class. And so it is not an irresponsible way to learn. It is just taking responsibility for the lesson that you have chosen. So that goes back to the decision.
Right.
Um, I have a question. What does, in a society like ours now, where there is so much of a pressure to perform right from junior KG or even
Yeah.
play school, people are paying lakhs, and
I know.
my kid was saying that there are schools which force you to learn on iPads and do horse riding and stuff like that, which may be good or bad is not the question. My point is that material can't decide the knowledge part of it. So whether I learn on an iPad or in a notebook, the mindset needs to be honed and developed, and the teachers and the system needs to walk in that direction. But what is happening is now that we have pockets of uh, socio-economic status being thrust upon us. So
Yeah.
there will be a international school, and there will be a this kind of school and that kind of school and this syllabus and that syllabus. So you clearly know where the uh, kid belongs in terms of socio-economic status according to the schools that they have attended. Having said that, I realize that it doesn't really matter, because if a kid is bright and they break through this entire thing, and
Yeah.
they can, and it is not just lessons and exams, it is interest in the subject that gets them there.
Very true.
So my question to you is, in a competitive world and the kind of pressure on learning uh, a subject that is remunerative in return, how does one keep alive the qualities that you were talking about, uh, which was only a few years back, but now it is easier said than done. You can't even tell another parent it's okay if they are not going to make money, let them make art. They will stop talking to you. I've had actual examples like this happen. So let me know what you think on this.
Uh, it's yeah, it's very a lot of things have changed. Like you say, like school back in our days, the whole pressure of education system was there in our times as well. But over the centuries, over the years and decades, it just became much more brutal when it comes to the pressure on the children in the academic thing. I think when things could have been worked out back in my day, things can still be worked out in these days as well. And this is where I think a learner, somebody who learns, a mind who is born creative and learns a lot, people are, I think, born with something special. We all are special in our own right. Each and every children, each and every human being has some specialty within itself, which sometimes we discover that unique skill or unique feature about ourselves when we are kids, or we understand that we discover the actual truer version of ourselves when we probably cross 30s, or maybe 20s, or maybe 40s, or maybe 50s, or maybe 60s. When we cross these age, probably then we understand, oh, I was supposed to become an artist, an actor, but I've ended up becoming a doctor. So maybe I have wasted my years, or maybe I still have time to work on that. So that is one stage, because if you're meant to become, suppose if you're meant to become an engineer, there is nothing in this world can actually stop you from becoming an engineer. If you discover yourself to become an artist, there's absolutely nothing in this world that can stop you from becoming an artist. Now, when I'm saying nothing can stop you from becoming who you are, this comes with a rebel mindset. And the rebel mindset is very ziddi. And this rebel mindset is connected with the intelligence part. When you're rebel, you have lots of obstacles on your life, including the understanding of your parents, including your school, including your pressure on studies, including your academic pressure, including homeworks, learning tons of things. So at the first stage, earlier stage, you start feeling a bit depressed, you start feeling lonely, you start feeling, do I really belong to this place? And why do I feel so disconnected from everyone? This happens with every rebel mind, every creative mind. And it is important, very important to go through that because that phase is here, which leads to the intelligence. Intelligence basically finds solution. Here, the intelligent part of the brain, because the rebel is so ziddy, he's going through depression, anxiety, nervousness, fear here, which when he realizes there is nothing else, there's no other space to go and move, then it takes the shape of intelligence right here. And when the intelligence comes, the intelligence immediately finds solution. It can work under the minimum resources. It can work under any pressure because then your mind is so deeply focused and your heart is so deeply in tune with your mind that you do not see anything as obstacles. Whatever, including your parents, like my dad doesn't listen to music or my dad doesn't want me to become a football player. So automatically your intelligent mind says, bro, do something impressive that he ends up liking your skill. Where do we see this? So the first thing, when the rebel part of the mind, the anxious part of the mind, the intelligent part of the mind, and then your heart, all these four things, when it combines, like it's a triangle. So it's a triangle. When it combines, you will see universe automatically comes into your own favor. You will see magic happen right in front of you. Because I have seen this happening in my case when I was a child. We do not know, but we manifest. We do manifest. We may go through a lot of things. Like I lost my father when I was 19 years old. And when I lost my father, because he was the most biggest motivator in my life. And of course, right? He was my role model. He was my hero. But when I lost my father, I was clueless. I was empty. Forget about being sad. I was thinking, where do I go from here? I'm completely. I'm like, there's no roof on top. There's no guide on top. There's nobody with whom I can share. There's nothing I can learn anymore. What exactly am I doing now? Where should I go? What should I do right now at this point? And then at that point of time, the other part of learning came. Before my dad he died, it was all free learning. It was relaxed learning. There's no fear, nothing. But after my dad he died, I have I had no other choice except for becoming a full-time musician, a full-time creator. So I had made my mind. The rebel part joined with the passed on the anxious and the fearful part, and it reached the intelligent part. And from here, it reached directly to the heart, and then decided your warrior side is activated as an artist or as a human being. You
One,
start feeling
one second. At this point, I have a question. This very thing, what you're talking about.
right.
So, do you think it is, one of the fancy things that most people think, even when you're describing this, that the rebel comes here and this happens, they don't understand that the chaos is a part of the whole journey.
Yeah.
Chaos
Yeah.
and loss and defeat and devastation and grief and anxiety and depression
Lot.
all are
That
important
part.
parts of the learning process
Yeah,
because
definitely.
of what you're describing. Because these things are, because every now and then your thing doesn't come from here to here. It comes from
Yeah.
here to here, then you wait
Absolutely.
here, and then it comes whatever the fundamentals might be. But it has to cross that milestone.
Yes. Yes.
How do you, because you also work with artists and their minds at times, whenever I see those posts, you tend to have a very calming influence in the way you uh, talk about this aspect in your post. What is it that you tell somebody who is going through some difficult or terrible time, either regarding their art or their life or economic or socio-economic problems uh, or other practical problems of that all creative people face, from becoming a creative to practical and then finding a mix of the two. So that part of the journey. When they come to you, if there are one or two things that they need to keep in mind, according to you, what are the things that should be kept in mind uh, when this chaos is happening? When the tornado hits you, what is one supposed to do? Uh, what is your suggestion when the mind is not settled or mind is not calm? Because without the mind, you can't really take this journey. It is a very difficult journey by itself, but it all happens in our own heads. Like you said, that after your dad passed away, you took the jump and said, okay, okay, this is my thing. So now I need to become a musician. I decide. So that decision came from the heart and the head and the
Yeah.
chaos. It is as important to have the chaos. Most people don't want that part. so
I
what
know
do
what you
you,
mean. Yeah. Yeah.
so what do you have to say about that? And when people come to you with such kind of problems, or you can, if you don't want to talk about people, you talk about your own journey in the sense that suppose a more recent time where you had a problem, you worked with it, and the inspiration or the miracle just happened. Can you share an example? It could be on stage performance, it could be a recording that you can talk about, it could be something to do with your talent finding a way out, but not because you focused and just pushed it. Some chemistry happened between certain things. Do you have any such story?
Yeah. So there are a lot of things, man. A lot of things. My life was never been easy, like since I was a kid. But yeah, life took a very complex turn when I lost my dad. Like financially, uh, family issues. All the relatives started coming up with issues, this and that. But it was like you say, chaos. It was a whole massive ocean of chaos. One thing I realized that it is completely okay to give up in some point of life. It is completely okay you fall down. It is completely okay to think that you are not able to make it. It is completely okay to just shut yourself up for maybe a few days or maybe a month or maybe a year or maybe more than 6, 7 years. It is completely okay to not believing in yourself at some point of time. Where we see a lot of motivators, a lot of motivational speakers that talk about, hey, don't be so coward. Just be brave. Just do things widely and go do it. Don't feel bad about it. You're just acting like a coward. You're acting like weak. Well, my point is, if darkness doesn't exist, light also doesn't exist. If light doesn't exist, darkness also doesn't exist. The light exists because there's darkness. The darkness exists because the light is existing. Similarly, without chaos, without going through, you know, self doubts, without going through anxious anxiety, without going through like massive depression, without going through uh, a lot of emotional pressure, financial, or somebody in the family is going through something, or it can be multiple things. How we tackle these situations depends on how many problems are we facing. It's like mathematics. The more problems you solve in mathematics, you become better at mathematics. This was my observation when I was a kid. And similarly, when you're dealing with these things, And if life keeps throwing, you know, chaos after chaos after chaos, and there's a mindset of dealing with life. Either you give up temporarily so that, so when I'm saying it's okay to give up, it's okay to be sad and depressed, it's okay to be broken down in some point in life. When I'm saying that, it means pretty much like changing your skin, like how snakes they change their skin, and you leave your older skin and you bring your new skin. The new skin is bringing new life to you, new ambition to you, something which you could never discover until you left your previous skin. So it's something like that. But when it comes to really, you know, able to do what you want to do in life, it takes, it's not a beautiful journey. If you are born creative, if you're born spiritual, your life is not going to be beautiful at all. Like a lot of times people would say, you know, you uh, you become so calm or you become spiritual. It's like always been like this. No, holy shit! I had to go through massive oceans of chaos. There's a lot of losses included here. There's a lot of relearning included here. There's a lot of mistakes. There's a lot of achievements. There's a lot of uh, close people's death is also included here. It's a lot of things, but the only thing which I remember from my own perspective is I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up for permanently. I needed break. I took break. Why I can say this, because it started from the school days where I used to uh, be absent in my school, like 7 दिन होते हैं in a week. So Monday to Friday हमारे classes होते हैं school में. So I used to bunk at least Wednesday and Thursday classes, or maybe Friday and Thursday classes. That was literally like a ritual to myself, which my parents failed to understand. My school teacher failed to understand. I was like, I don't give a shit about that if they don't understand. I need to be myself first. I need to find my peace first. I need these 2, 3 days in a week to unlearn first. Because in these 2 days of being absent from the school and just resting at my own home in the room, this is giving me a space to grieve. This is giving me space to unlearn. This is giving me space to give up for one day. This is giving me space to change my skin. And after these 2 days, when I go back to the school, I'm back to my own self. I'm again learning. So it's basically a lot of things comes into my in my mind, a lot of things coming into life. So we choose these what do you call information, these experiences of life, which life is throwing at us constantly, and everything is like attached with us, right? So what we do is, out of all these experiences which attach to me in this life, we can call these experiences as chaos. We can call them as beautiful experiences. Now, it is me to decide which one should I keep for future, which one should I not keep with myself at all. For example, school. School is temporary. I'm only going to learn school. I'm only going to complete my school after 12. After this, I'm totally leaving the school. This is where I am. I'm not going to get attached to my school life at all. So this is where a manifestation starts happening, which is basically choosing yourself above everything. Now, there are a lot of things have been discovered in the last 20, 25 years. There's a word called narcissism. A lot of people say narcissism is bad. Well, narcissism is exactly like a knife. What exactly a knife is? You can cut vegetables with the knife, a good thing. You can cut apple with the knife, a good thing. You can cut all the requirements. A dog is tied up with a rassi. You can also cut the rassi and make him free. That is a good thing. Also, this knife can kill somebody by
Slitting
So,
their throat.
slitting the wrist. So what happened that moment? The knife has become a dark creature. Until unless he was helping those small activities which are like cutting the apple, cutting the rope, cutting the vegetables, the knife was doing a good role. So narcissism is exactly like that. Narcissism, there's dark narcissism, there's a lighter version of narcissism. The lighter version of narcissism makes you alive, makes you stand out in a situation of exploitation, domination, chaos, suffering, where your empathy, so it's like empathy and light narcissism are twin brothers. So where empathy makes us sacrifice our dreams, our achievements, ourselves, just because we love somebody who doesn't value us. This is empathy and this is narcissist. This is the lighter narcissist, so not the darker one. The lighter narcissist reminds the empathy brother, hey bro, you know what? You're losing yourself. Don't do that. Come here. You have a dream, you achieve, you are designed to do things. For this, all these empathetic things, you are losing yourself. I don't want you to lose. Come with me. We have achievements to do, okay? Find yourself where you are. You're doing it wrong. The empathy, oh yes, thank you so much for reminding me. Oh, I understand what you mean. I was just thinking that maybe I shouldn't go against my parents. So the narcissist would say, no, you're not doing anything bad to your parents by going against them. You're doing a favor to them. They have a fear of you becoming a loser, but they do not know how your mind works. They do not know what your destiny is. Are they gods or are they parents? If they are parents, exactly. They do not know what you are going through, what you're going to deal with. Their generation is different. Your generation is different, right? Yes. So why the hell are you afraid of them? You shouldn't be afraid of them misunderstanding you. If they see you achieving the best in your field, you will always be great. Okay? And they are your parents. In the end, they will understand you. Okay? So just because you have to wait for them doesn't mean that you have to. Did you understand? Yes. You don't have to sacrifice your dreams. Okay. Yeah, got it. So learn itself. Nobody's going to do that for you. So this is exactly we find ourselves where we learn to take that I have something to offer. I have something to do. And when I'm in the school, I tell this to my nephew also. I have two nephews. The older one, he's 18 years old. And the younger one, he's 7 years old. I keep telling the same things to my nephews from this time onward, from the younger times. So I tell my nephew that the older one who's 18 years old. I told him, are you doing engineering because your mom and dad want you to become an engineer? He said, no, I want to become an engineer. Are you sure? That yes. Because then I said, I don't see that enthusiasm in you. You're doing this to impress your parents. This is not you. I can see your heart lies in football, sports. You are sacrificing yourself while you have an option. Then my nephew told me, yeah, but education is important. I said, yes, of course it's important. But engineering, are you sure about this? Because if my mom and dad must have thought about it, then must be good. No, bro. Your mom and dad are beautiful people. They love you so much. I hate to say this, but they're not always right. They are not always right. You have to man up. You have to man up. Go speak to your dad and tell him on his face that, Dad, I love you so much, but I have to discuss something with you. So what? I will do engineering if you want me to engineer, but my heart lies in somewhere else. And if I become an engineer, I'll probably become a very bad citizen. So this is why I'm saying this, why I'm telling my nephew to do this, because this is the same thing, same conversation I had with my dad. My dad wanted me to become a doctor. I told my dad on the face, politely, without arguing, nothing. I I hugged my dad and I said, Dad, I'll become a very disgusting dog, a very corrupt, evil man if I try to become a. My dad was looking at me like this for like 1 minute. Then, what do you want to do in life? I asked my dad, what is your fear regarding me? I want to know that. My dad said you won't be able to. Good. Dad, you have to tell me what is the fear you have regarding me. Then my dad, after 6 days, opened up and told me, my only fear is how will you survive in this chaotic world if you do not choose the professional step I am aware. And then I told my dad, how did you achieve becoming an engineer, a gold medalist, when my grandpa was not even into engineering? My dad said I had to argue with your grandpa. And I told your grandpa that I want to become an engineer because becoming an engineer was my dream. He said, exactly. Becoming an engineer is my dream.
So basically, it comes with self-exploration, self-responsibility, self-interest, uh, partnering with the decision makers, our parents, and trusting our uh, own instinct about where we want to go, where life is pushing and prodding us. Uh, it's been a remarkably deep kind of chat uh, where you covered a lot of personal stories and
Yeah.
very intense kind of expressions. Uh,
You
Brilliant.
will be always welcome.
Thank you, Vishal. It's
You're
such
welcome.
a beautiful chat that we've had.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
I had to interrupt you because we might run short of time in terms of sharing
Oh,
it on social media.
I understand it. I understand.
But thank you so much. It's been wonderful. I'll see you
Me
around.
too. That's my honor.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Looking forward.
You too. Bye.